Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Infinite I Am Global event, in which we will gather for powerful conversations with scientists, wisdom keepers, shamans, healers, intuitives, astrologers, visionaries, to bring a deep understanding of our relation to the divine, to all that is, has been, and will always be. This event is designed to open up space for all of us to remember the infinite and powerful light being that we all are, to acknowledge the sacredness of everything, to restore the sacredness of everything, to restore the ancient knowledge of living in oneness, to consciously honor our choice to incarnate in this moment of time and offer our unique contribution for recreating the indigenous way of living on Earth. Here, you are invited to tune into the wisdom and the healing energy created in these conversations and experience your own deep transformation. I'm your host and the creator of this event, Veselka Nikolova, and today I'm really excited to present to you Jocelyn Starkweather. Welcome, Jocelyn. So excited to have you on the summit.
Thank you, Veselka. It is such a pleasure to be here. And thank you so much for creating this beautiful event.
Thank you. I will read your bio. Just for those who don't know you, although I'm sure a big part of our audience already know you. You were part of the last year's summit, Speaking the Language of the Soul. But maybe there are some new people here who would like to know more about you. So Jocelyn Starkweather is a visibility and thought leadership coach for visionary and entrepreneurs, spiritual alchemist, astrologer, and founder of Sacred Planet. She shares shamanic and ancient wisdom to guide courageous seekers in co-creating a revolutionary new world in alignment with Mother Earth and the vast intelligence of the cosmos. After a successful 15-year corporate career working in finance for major multinational companies, Jocelyn was thrust into a deep spiritual awakening. It was that awakening that turned her life upside down, and from which she emerged with a powerful understanding of how to use her intuition and healing abilities, aspects of herself that she'd never had access to before. She dove deeply into earth-based and shamanic practices, and she has studied alongside elders and wisdom keepers ever since. She has extensively studied ancient civilizations, especially cultures where the goddess held a strong presence, and she has spent profound and life-changing time in the ancient temples and pyramids of Egypt. Jocelyn blends alchemy, astrology, hermeticism, ancient and indigenous wisdom, and a magical shamanic perspective to coach and guide visionary entrepreneurs, revolutionaries, and change makers all around the world. You can find out more about Jocelyn's work on her website. We are sacredplanet.com and the Sacred Planet YouTube channel. All the links are below this video that you're just now watching and under her bio. So you can feel free to go and check out Jocelyn's work. So today's talk with Jocelyn is called Your Light-Filled Mission, Your Sacred Voice, the Visionary Entrepreneur's Way. This is such a relevant topic for the times we live in, Jocelyn. We need visionary entrepreneurs to lead the way with their sacred voice. So I'm very grateful you chose to speak on that topic. And I'm grateful. So my first question here is, why are so many people feeling the call to take a big leap, to bring their voice forward at this time?
Yeah, thank you for that question. And thank you for the beautiful introduction. And I was just, as a little side note, I was thinking, Veselka, of the first and possibly I guess the only time we've met in person, it was in Egypt. And it was just very magical because we weren't in the same group or anything, but we saw each other. And that's really significant, I feel, for the work that we're both doing, and how it's connected. So just wanted to mention that. It was a really magical moment to see you there near the Giza Plateau.
It was a significant and very powerful moment, because at that point, if you remember, I was choosing if I had already chosen, really, but I left the answer for later. I was starting my journey in Egypt. You were finishing your journey in Egypt at that point. So we met the last day when you were going to the airport. But it was, for me, a sign from spirit that my answer for you, for your, you had offered me to do one-on-one coaching with you on summit creation, which I wouldn't have been doing right now without you. And this was a sign that the yes in me was confirmed by this great spirit. So
Yeah,
I can't forget that.
yeah, I'll always remember that. Yeah, and it's so connected to our theme of what I'm going to share about today, because this journey of stepping into entrepreneurship and stepping into sharing our voice or sharing our healing or our art or whatever it is that we're each called to share in a visionary way in this wild world that we live in now. It's such a big momentous decision, and it must necessarily be connected with the guidance from above, in our own inner wisdom and inner guidance. So that's just such an important part of it. So we'll talk about that more, but back to your question, why are so many people feeling called to take a leap right now? This is so interesting to ponder. It's so fascinating to consider. There are so many things changing in our world. There are really difficult situations going on in our world. We've come through these last 4 years of the pandemic, and so much change and a lot of fear and a lot of doubt and wars going on, and so much is changing. And so this is all part of a much bigger plan, which I'm sure many others in your in your event will talk even more about. But this is a much bigger plan guiding us to a new way of living, a new way of understanding who we are. The systems and structures that we have in our world today must break down so that we can break through and return to, as you said in the introduction, and a more indigenous way of living, a way that is honoring the sacredness of all that we are, the sacredness of life. And so those who have a vision for the future, or those who have healing abilities, or those who are, amazing teachers, or feel called to step forward with whatever their unique gifts and talents are, the universe is saying to us, don't wait any longer. Now is the time. And I think I talk to so many people who are feeling this so strongly, and in my work, I work with many entrepreneurs, and so many people now are contacting me and saying, I've waited, I've been afraid to share my voice, I've been afraid to step forward with my gifts, and I just can't wait anymore. I know that now is the time. So it's incredible. It gives me chills just to think about it and talk about it, how this movement is rising right now. And I truly believe that the next future round of leaders, we look at the leaders in our world today, these are not the leaders that are going to take us into the future. These are not the leaders who are going to take us into the new world for the most part. And I'm talking about like government leaders and corporate leaders and that kind of thing, right? This is not the leadership that we need. the leaders who are stepping up now are the light workers and the healers and those that have studied ancient and indigenous wisdom and become really, really immersed and well-versed in who we really are, who we used to know ourselves to be 5,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, and who will be able to guide us in a very different way than the leadership of the last few hundred years, even the last 2,000 or 3,000 years. You know, it's going to be a very different form of leadership stepping up. And so those who are called to be entrepreneurs are called to that. And all of you listening out there who are feeling that call, even if it's just this little tiny nudge, you know, at this point, or maybe you've already started your business, wherever you are on that journey, you're feeling that call because you are meant to be one of these leaders of today and into tomorrow, to really help us make these changes. Because in order to fully break down the old systems and in order to fully bring forward the new ways and the ancient ways, in order to remember the sacredness of life and really live from a place of recognizing that sacredness, in order to remember the true potential and technology of our bodies and our amazing ability to heal without depending on the modern medical establishment. You know, there's so many different examples of this I could give, but we're going to need you, those who are listening, who are feeling called to be this kind of leader. We're going to need you from all different walks of life, all different areas of expertise, all different gifts and talents that you were born with, to step up and step into your leadership and step into your power. And that's how we're going to build the new world together. And it's like a grassroots uprising, you know. This is not going to be the, you know, 1% of people at the top of the pyramid that have all the money and all the power. That's how it's been for thousands of years now. That's going to fall. And instead, it will be many, 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 many of us leading the way, each with our own unique and amazing gifts and talents. So as you're feeling that call, know that there's a reason for it. You're connected into this much bigger plan of what's happening now. And it is so important to say yes. It is so important to step forward. The astrology, I won't go into all the astrology because I could talk just for an hour about that, but there's so many things happening astrologically and energetically in our world that are supporting this shift and that are going to be supporting you as you step up into your leadership more and more, or if you've already stepped up, then taking it to the next level of what you can bring. So I'll pause there, but that's what's happening, you know, for us on the collective. And it's just amazing. It's part of this very massive awakening of consciousness that's going on. And the entrepreneurs and the visionaries have a really special role as part of that.
Thank you, Jocelyn. If I may add something, because from my personal experience, because I'm sure some are feeling the way I was feeling at that point when I said yes to you. So there is a lot of fear. Some may feel the call, but there may be many fears, fear from visibility or lack of clarity. For example, what am I supposed exactly to do? And I'm sure many of these people who are feeling the call have done so much healing work on themselves, have learned so many modalities and are still confused. And I would like just to let them know that the way you are guiding us into the process is a combination, a unique combination of your skills of coaching, but also combined with the feminine way in you to coach, with the magic and knowing how to alchemize some of our intentions and actions into something really beautiful. And also, not the last thing, not the last thing of importance is that you are looking into the charts of the people that are joining you into the astrological, and with your unique way of interpreting the archetypes, you are really clarifying for those that don't have the clarity. What am I supposed to do? How to leap when I don't know exactly this is how I felt as well. It becomes clear that yes, this is where I'm supposed to go. And with this clarity, there is less fear. I have to say that. And also, your system is, I'm taking a little bit longer, but I think it's important for people to hear with your system to lead gradually through how technology works, how we have to know our clients, and we are doing it at the same time. It becomes like part of the process, so the fear somehow disappears so naturally. So it's amazing. I can't say enough about that. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that,
Yeah.
Vasilka. It's wonderful to hear your point of view on that. And it is, some people may resonate with me and want to work with me, and that's wonderful. And other people may find another mentor that resonates more with them. But I think it's so important to find someone that can guide you on this journey, because really when we're stepping into our visionary voice and message, and when we're stepping into entrepreneurship, we've got to, it's really helpful to have someone alongside, holding our hand at times when needed, who can see beyond what we can see. And I have had those mentors on my journey that have changed everything for me, because we all have our perspective. We're kind of like, I don't like to say we're in a box, but it's kind of like that. We have like what we believe is possible currently, but there's always so much more that's available to us, that's possible for us. So then when we're in connection with somebody that can be a guide and that can help us see outside of our own box and into the vastness of what's really available, it changes everything. And it really can help us to not be afraid anymore, and to feel that trust. And yeah, the astrology is an amazing tool for getting, it's like the language of our soul, and we're able to read like, okay, here's the clues to what your purpose is. And here are the timings that will be perfect for you to actually take the action. So, you'll have support at that time. So, thank you for mentioning those things, Vasilka.
Yes, that is just unique. And I have to mention, there are a lot out there that can teach you how to step out and how to market yourself. Or I've done 2 courses before that, which were great, but I felt one was a bit masculine, the other was, and still going through the mental process of how to do it. Yours is a different type of coaching and hands-on doing it.
Yeah.
It's not just brainstorming around a certain set of questions and tasks and things. It's totally different. I can say, of course, just for those who feel drawn to join you, to encourage them to dissipate their hesitation. So
Thank you so much.
I got the next question. So what are our sacred instructions, and how does following them allow us to bring more light into the world?
Yes, absolutely. So our sacred instructions are such an important part of this journey of bringing our voice and bringing our gifts to the world. We each have sacred instructions. That's the terminology that I use for this, right? Our sacred instructions. And so what this is we each have a roadmap for our life and for bringing our gifts forward. Now, this is what I can see in people's astrology chart. I can see your sacred instructions. We can read them there. But the sacred instructions are the reminders and the golden threads and the way forward that the great intelligence of the universe, and you might call this God, goddess, creator, cosmic consciousness. But there's this intelligence that is guiding us. There's this intelligence that has created the sacred architectural structure of the whole universe, the multiverses, and we're a part of that. And every one of us has a beautiful role to play that we came here, we incarnated into this lifetime to do. And so some people never get connected with their sacred instructions. They live the whole life and they're, doing their best, and that's great. And then others get an opportunity, to become tuned into the sacred instructions. And I bet everybody listening here has some connection with this, right? Some connection with your sacred instructions. If you're here attending this event, definitely you're connected with this at least a little bit, maybe a lot already. And so we want to really be listening. We want to be listening in our meditations. We want to be paying attention to our dreams. We want to listen to those little intuitive hits that we get, or the gut feeling guidance when we just know something. And we want to follow the opportunities that come up. If we feel really, really called to learn a particular healing modality, for example, that's a part of the sacred instructions. We're being guided toward that by by the universe, by this great intelligence. If we feel really, really moved to go to a particular in-person event or an in-person training, and then we meet certain people there that are going to change the trajectory of our life, that's another example. So the sacred instructions are this kind of guidance. It doesn't come through in bold writing that you can easily read. It's a little cryptic, and it really is like golden threads and intuitive hits. And so we want to become more and more and more tuned in to this guidance so that we can recognize it when it comes through, and so that we can follow it. Sometimes the sacred instructions can feel really scary to follow. I know when I was having my awakening and I was starting to do a shamanic journeying practice, where I would listen to a drum beat and drop in and then, see where my guides would take me. They asked me to go to New Mexico, and I was afraid to travel. And I had 2 little kids that were 2 and 5 years old, but I just knew it was like one of these, it was maybe the first time I have felt that conviction, that knowing, like, no matter how much this makes absolutely no sense in my life right now, I have to go. I just know it's really important. And I went, and the most incredible magical things happened. And I got connected in with one of my very first Indigenous wisdom keeper teachers. And it changed my whole life, So we want to be really tuned in to these instructions when they come. And they're part of the bigger plan. So I'm referring to that bigger plan again, because we each have something that we came here to contribute. And when more and more and more of us are contributing our purpose, our mission, and sharing our voice, in the way that we're each very uniquely meant to do, it heals the whole world. Of course, it's healing us each in our own lives in really miraculous ways, but it's also healing the world, and it's allowing us to move into that state of being that we want to see in the future, the more joyful and healthy and sustainable and peaceful world, that we want to be a part of. So really listen carefully. I can't say enough how important it is for us to be receiving those sacred instructions and then saying yes to them. And that's a really important note too. You may not know how to move forward with the sacred instructions. You may get something that comes through that seems like I don't even know where to begin to do that. One of my friends years and years ago got the instructions to build a teepee on her land. And she thought, I don't know how to build a teepee. I don't even know where to begin. I would want to do that with the utmost respect for the Indigenous traditions that originally constructed teepees. And I don't even know. So, but anyway, she just said yes. And so this is the thing that we can do if we don't know how to move forward, but you have an idea of some instruction has come through. Just say yes to it. Just say yes to it with all your heart and trust. And I'll share the alchemical prayer as a in closing for this question, because it's really connected to this. So there's a prayer that was given to me by my guide several years ago. And I've worked a lot with alchemy, which is the process of transforming ourselves from the inside out, really from the ground up, from the foundation of our being, creating this transformation of who we are and who we're becoming. And so this prayer was given to me to guide me and also my students in this process. So the alchemical prayer is, "Dear universe, please send me all of the things that I need and most deeply desire that I do not even yet know are possible." So if you don't know what to do, or if you're feeling stuck, don't know how to move forward, this is an amazing place to begin. You can write that prayer down and just say it every day. I recommend saying it 3 times a day with your hands up toward the sun, really opening to the abundance and of that light of the sun, right? And even if you're well on your path, say it 3 times a day, every day. I definitely do. And it brings in the most incredible miracles and clarity and takes away the fear in really beautiful ways.
Yes, it's a magical prayer. And I would say when something comes through, as you said, following the signs, to take the courage to make one little step. And I can feel it that if everyone just is a little bit courageous to take a step, and this courage increases the courage in the collective. And this courage, if it's kind of reaches a high frequency enough, it supports the others as well. So
Yes,
everyone
absolutely.
is supported of this individual taking a courageous action, but it becomes easier and easier with the time. So there is a support energetic as well in this way.
Yes,
Beautiful
I
prayer.
love that. Thank you for adding that.
Yeah, thank you. My next question would be, what are the keys to finding success as a visionary entrepreneur in today's world as we know it?
So I have a few keys that I wanted to share that I think are really at the heart of saying yes and stepping into this visionary work, entrepreneurial kind of work where we're sharing our voice. So the first one is about the financial piece, because this is a really big block for a lot of people. And actually my free gift will help with this too. We'll talk about that later. But I really invite everybody to think about how you can create a sense of sacred economics in the way that you're sharing your work, and also this concept of spiritual abundance. Now, the problem is so many of us have been told money is bad, or if you're really a good person, you don't need a lot of money, or if you're a spiritual person, you shouldn't charge for your gifts. But this just leads to failure, because if we don't receive anything in exchange for what we're providing, then we're just going to have to go get some other job that's going to take all of our energy away, right? So we need to shift this paradigm. We need to shift this dynamic around money and spirituality. Money is just an energy that flows through our life. We have made it, into all of these constructs that can be, scary in our world. But the truth is, there is this natural principle of abundance that flows through everything. And the sunlight, is a perfect example of this light that showers down upon us. It is infinite, you know, as long as the sun is in the sky and the earth is here orbiting around the sun, right? And it provides far more energy every single day than all the plants, all the animals, all of us could ever need. And we're just receiving it continuously. And so we're actually meant to be living in that kind of abundance, always. Now, because of these constructs in our world and some people trying to take all the power and money and these awful things that have been done with money, we start to feel bad about receiving that abundance. We start to feel like I've done something wrong, or, you know, I can't accept that. But actually, the universe wants us to have every resource that we could possibly need in order to bring our greatest gifts forward. That's how it's actually supposed to work, right? So I really invite everybody to shift. And again, my free gift goes way deeper into this and will really help to kind of reconfigure your thoughts and your, you know, beliefs around money. We've got to be able to welcome money into our lives. And it's just an exchange. It's an exchange of energy. You know, if I provide a service, I receive a flow of abundance in exchange for that, and everybody wins. And we want to set up our businesses in that way. You know, we want to set up our work and our the way that we're working with clients or working with, you know, those who buy our art, or, you know, whatever we're doing, in a really abundant way that works for everybody. And one more thing about money that's so important is that money, as we receive more money, as we receive more flow of abundance into our lives, we are more free. We become more free and we become more able to be who we truly are. Right? And this is an amazing gift and an amazing blessing, because when we're not worried about, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can pay the rent, I don't know if I can put food on the table this week, that's not a place from which we can share our greatest gifts. And many spiritual people or creatives, you know, have found themselves in that place. But I really invite you all to hold the vision of vast amounts of abundance continually flowing in, because then when that's happening, you can be your fullest self. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be in worry mode. And it shifts everything. You know, it really, really allows you to bring in the abundance. We've been taught that the more money you receive, if you receive a lot of money, you'll become evil or you'll become bad or something like that. And that's not true. You know, there are people who have naturally selfish or egotistical or whatever, you know, characteristics. They receive more money, then they become more egotistical and more selfish. But everybody listening here, all the light workers and the healers out there, you're not going to be like that. If you get more money, you're going to think of all the amazing things you're going to do when you receive more money. You're going to give more back to other people. You're going to expand your own gifts and talents. You're going to feel happier and healthier, right? So this is the first principle, is really shifting our mindset around finances. Now, the next principle, or the next key, is trusting yourself. And this is a really huge one too. As we're following this path of spiritual entrepreneurship, really stepping into our gifts, we need to learn to trust and surrender quite a bit. And I know, I see you nodding, Ms. Hook. I know you've done this, you know, you've been doing this. And it's so interesting because we have to trust. We have to trust on this journey. We are going to get asked to do things that are outside of our comfort zone. Now, this is part of the healing and the breaking old patterns that must happen. And it needs to happen within every one of us, right? Breaking down the old patterns, the old systems, the old beliefs. They've got to go, because we are rising into a completely new way of being and understanding reality. So when we say yes to the visionary path, we will get asked to do things that we never thought we could do. We will get opportunities to step out of our comfort zone. We will get opportunities to be more visible or speak our voice, you know, where some may be able to receive it and some may not. We will also, you know, always, I've been through this. I know all my clients have been through this. Our family and friends may not understand why we're changing in these ways and why we're becoming interested in these other different things. So we've got to develop this deep, deep reservoir of trust within ourselves, and trust in our intuition, trust in our dreams and what comes through in the meditations, because this is how the guidance is set up for us. We're receiving guidance at every moment. We just need to tune into it and trust it. And so there's some surrendering involved too. And surrender doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing, right? Surrendering means leaning in a little bit more, leaning in a little bit more, and coming back again and again to trust, right? So that's another key. And again, that's another thing I could talk about for probably an hour too. But really, really trusting yourself and not worrying about what other people think is such a huge part of this. Now, one more key that I will share is to know that you, and I'm speaking to each and every person listening now, right? You have a very unique combination of gifts that no one else can offer in the exact same way that you can do. You know, you may have certain modalities that you've learned, certain life experiences you have gathered, gifts and talents you were just born with, and much more. And the way that you will uniquely take those things and combine them allows you to provide gifts that the world needs that nobody else can do in that exact same way. So if anybody is sitting here thinking, well, I'm a healer, but there's so many other healers out there, how am I ever going to get anywhere, right? Or you know, I want to write a book, but there's so many more other books out there. Why should I even begin writing? That is not true. Okay. The book that you will write, the kind of healing that you will bring, it's going to be different than what anybody else could offer. And there are people out there just waiting for you to step forward with your book or your healing work, or whatever it might be. They're waiting for you because they need you. They need the gifts that only you can bring in this exact way. So this does come back to trusting ourselves, right? It comes back to trusting the gifts that we uniquely hold. But it also is about looking at how this fits into the bigger plan. What's happening on the earth right now is this massive awakening of consciousness. So many people, I mean, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people probably right now are waking up, are realizing this job, I can't do it anymore. It's not aligned with my soul. Or I have to leave this relationship or this marriage. It's not working for me anymore. Or looking at the world around and seeing like, this is crazy. This is insane. Doesn't make any sense. We have to find a new way. And there many people out there are feeling very isolated. They're feeling very alone because their friends and family probably don't understand. They don't have many people to talk to. And so those of you who are feeling called to step into leadership or be a healer or a light worker or a teacher, whatever you may be, you're here to hold the light for them. You're here to bring the light and the information and the healing energy, all of it, to help guide and assist in this massive awakening of consciousness that's happening right now. You know, we're all in this together. We're all here to help each other. We're all at different phases on our development. And those who are just a little bit ahead are able and, you know, and have the gifts to help those who are just a little bit behind them. You know, it's not even about being ahead or behind. Those aren't really good words for it, but you know what I mean. And so, you know, it's like, trust yourself and know that the gifts you have are really deeply needed. And you were given those gifts because the world needs them. Don't ever doubt that. Don't ever doubt that. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. You have these gifts because the world needs them. So I'll pause there But those are the keys I wanted to share today.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Very relevant, and I'm sure that every light worker experiences all of this in to different extent.
Yeah.
And it's so important to kind of summarize them, so that I think it's important to know that they're not alone if they feel like that. We all go through the lack of self-confidence and our questioning our value, and possibly having this imposter syndrome is so huge at some point. What am I offering to people? But there is a way to overcome that as well, to heal that. And as you mentioned, the money is a big issue. And because we're concentrating on the subject of money, but actually the way to do it is to concentrate the value that we bring. And through the money we receive, we still keep doing our own learning and our own healing. So we are investing this money to bring transformation in ourselves too. So it's exchange of value, really, through what we're doing. And but it's a big hurdle. So probably it's not a coincidence you started with it as a number one. And the uniqueness, yes. So I couldn't agree more with what. Thank you for kind of clarifying and bringing it as a package, because they go together.
Yeah. Yes, they're very interwoven.
Very, yes. And resolving one helps resolving the other one, and gradually disentangle all the energy.
Very true. Yes.
Yeah. So there is a lesson here, but there is a help too, just by being aware. How can people get started on bringing their gifts out to the world?
Yeah. Yeah. So, of course, that's going to be very unique to each person. And different people are at different places on that journey, But what I will say is it's important to take, as you said earlier, Vasilka, just one little step forward. Or if you've already taken some steps, keep taking the next one, we just really want to be in a position of leaning toward our calling, leaning toward what the universe wants for us, and saying yes to what feels right and true in our heart again and again. And as we lean forward, we say yes, and we take, one little step, then we take another little tiny step, and maybe another slightly medium step, then we do gain courage, as you said, over time. It does become easier. It becomes easier to explain to our friends and family as we start to find success on that path, right? I know this was a really big turning point for me. So, I create summits and conferences online, and I guide my clients to create summits and conferences. And it's just such an incredible service to this awakening of consciousness that we're bringing this information forward, and so many people find the teachers and the information that they need. And so when I held my first summit, it was a really big turning point for me, because on the other side of that, I could say to my friends and family, I've created something real here. I've created something that people appreciate, that people need, that people are using, and it's changing their lives, right? So it's interesting, because on our journey, as we keep taking one step and another step and another step in whatever way is right for each of us, we reach a point where we can say, okay, I've achieved something concrete here. I've created something concrete. Like, this is now an ongoing healing practice, or I've written this book, or I've, created this particular kind of art that is now, people are buying and enjoying. And when we reach that point, it's a huge moment of confirmation of our own inner knowing, right? That we've been following all along. And it's also a moment where we can say to those friends and family, you know, look, I, you know, thank you for believing me, or if they didn't believe in you, you know, just, I'm sorry that you didn't, but look what I've created. And it allows us to really stand in our power in a whole new way. So wherever you are on the path, know that you're going to get to that place. You're going to get to that place where you can say, I've achieved this, I've created this. It takes time. It takes patience, but we want to hold that vision always of that next moment of achievement and that next moment of joy and confirmation. So, you know, what I would recommend for those listening now, whatever stage you're at in this journey of, you know, bringing your voice and bringing your, you know, creating a business or creating a community, create a vision statement. All right. And I have a really particular way that I recommend doing this that's very powerful. So you want to, this is a 1-year vision statement. Okay, so you can write at the top a date that's 1 year from today. So if you're writing this on, you know, June 30th, 2024, you would write at the top, today is June 30th, 2025, and I am ... And then you go and fill in that piece of paper with all the pieces of your vision, and you write it in present tense and in first person, okay, as it's already happening. So I am running an amazingly successful healing center here in my town of, you know, wherever in the world. Or I am, you know, you can add other things other than your business goals too, right? I have an amazing partner who is aligned with my spiritual path, you know, or whatever that is. I have a new home, I have plenty of income flowing in, whatever you want to put in that vision. Write it in present tense and first person. End it with a statement of gratitude to your guides and God, goddess, higher consciousness of the universe, right? And at the very bottom put, I welcome in all of this or something better. Or something even better. Sometimes the universe has something that we just can't even imagine that's even better. And then you take this, and you don't want to make it too long, because my recommendation is read this every day when you first wake up in the morning. So you're going to be reading it for a year. You know, you're writing, it's a 1 year, you're writing it for 1 year from the date that you write it. When you wake up and read this vision statement first thing every morning, it shifts your perspective all throughout the rest of that day. Okay, you're starting with this vision in mind. And so gradually, and this accelerates and becomes more exponential over time, you will make decisions differently, because now you're going to always have that vision in mind as you're making your decisions throughout the day. You will probably say yes to opportunities that maybe you wouldn't even have noticed before. You will choose maybe to have your morning practice in a different way because you're holding this vision. So I really strongly recommend this. This is something that got me started way, way back, and that I still do regularly, always updating the vision to whatever I know, you know, is meant to come next. So this is a powerful practice, and just writing it down, we start to bring it into 3D reality. You know, we are creator beings. Our imagination is not just our imagination. Our imagination is actually an aspect of us as creator beings that allows us to drop out of the normal thinking human mind and connect with the mind of the all, connect with the higher intelligence of the cosmos. And we can receive these imaginations, these visions, these transmissions. And then when we write them down, we're making it actually part of physical 3D reality for the first time. And then when we read that every day, it becomes a part of our thought process. We act differently, we make decisions differently to come into alignment with that vision. And it's a really, really magical practice to do this. So that's what I recommend.
Yes, it's a beautiful, beautiful practice. And I can imagine, you know, by doing that, it changes the chemistry of the body. Yes. And of course, it encourages a new action. which is, as you said, it's aligned to the vision. Great,
Yeah.
kind of, it changes even believing in ourselves that we can do it. And I would say, perhaps if fear appears, it would be natural because we're just stepping out of the comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
which would mean we are stepping something that is unknown. But this means this is where the real creation of something new begins. So it's kind of the normal way of feeling. I would say fear is part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Fear
Yeah, and I think it's really healthy, especially now in this world as things are changing so quickly, our consciousness is rising so rapidly. It's good and healthy to feel excited and slightly terrified in a good way. We don't want to be deep in fear. I don't mean that, right? I don't mean fearing every day is what's around the corner, but excited about what you're creating or bringing into your life new, and a little bit afraid because you are stepping out of the comfort zone. You are stepping into something that you haven't done before. And that's a healthy kind of stress. There's healthy and unhealthy stress, and being excited about something and so excited that it's, you're slightly terrified is actually, it can be really, really healthy for us. And it keeps us growing. It keeps us expanding into who we are becoming next. And it's really a beautiful way to live. That's kind of how I try to live, because I don't want to ever stop growing. I don't want to ever reach a certain point and just stay stuck there, right? And I think that's a good mindset for all of us to have. This continual growth, continual becoming more and more of who we really are and who we came here to be.
Yes, it's thank you for mentioning the other aspect of fear, excitement,
Yeah.
which is good to shift to this point so that we can really move forward. Yes, thank you for bringing this other aspect because it changes a lot when we approach everything with that.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful conversation, Jocelyn. We can.
Yes. We could go on for hours about these topics for sure.
We are coming to closer to the hour, and we can still have time to say something else, but I don't want to miss the timing to mention about your free gift that you're offering to everyone, and you mentioned it as well earlier. It's called The Energetics of Money for Spiritual Entrepreneurs, a paradigm shifting video workshop guided by Jocelyn Starfeder. Could you tell a little more about that?
Yes, absolutely. So this is coming back to that theme of finances and the money. And it is just so important because I want all of you out there who are going to be entrepreneurs or who are visionary leaders in some way to have all of the abundance you need to do the things you really want to do, and not have to give 50 hours of your life every week to a job that is not aligned with your soul, or not have to be worried about paying the rent every month. And I say, I want this for you, but really the universe wants this for you because the universe wants you to bring your greatest gifts forward. That's why you're here. And so this video really breaks down a lot of the limiting beliefs around money, and then helps to create very, very expansive actual truths in place of those limiting beliefs. And this is really what this is a way to heal limiting beliefs in general, is look at what that old belief is, that old pattern that we were told since we were 2 years old, and money doesn't grow on trees, or money is evil, or whatever it is, and recognize that that is just a lie. That is an illusion. And then think about what is actually the truth to this situation. Oh, I'm actually meant to have more than enough abundance every single day to bring my greatest gifts to the world. That is a much better belief for me to move forward in my life with, right? And it's actually the truth. So we're going to break down the old beliefs about money. We're going to look at what are actually the truths. that we can now put in place of those old beliefs and move forward with. And I just have some really paradigm shifting insights all throughout the video about how we can have a very different relationship with money and allow that abundance to flow in beautiful ways. So I hope everybody will enjoy it.
I believe they will enjoy, and I encourage everyone to click under this video and claim your free gift and get to know your work. Do you want to say anything else? Any final words or anything else that how can people work with you in a different way? Whatever you're drawn to share, just for the ending of our conversation.
Yeah, thank you for that question. And so I'll say something about working with me, and then I'll say like a final statement. I'll see what my guides send to me as final words of wisdom. But so I do want to mention, go check out my website. It's at wearesacredplanet.com, and it's linked below this video, of course. I have so much to inspire you and empower you for wherever you are on your path. There's lots of online courses that are free and donation based and really easy to join that can lift you up and help you really, really come into your power and into your confidence. And so that's an amazing way to explore. And then also I do guide people to create their own conferences and summits so that you can bring together your global community of the people that really get you, that really understand you, and will be, truly aligned with the work that you're doing. And that makes all the difference in the world. And entrepreneurship is bringing together your global community. So reach out to me through my website if you would like to chat more about the possibilities there. I love guiding people in that process, and it's so transformational and life-changing. So let me tune in and see what are the words of wisdom here as we close the interview today. Wow. Okay. Well, what I'm getting is, for everyone listening, you are so, so, so much more powerful than you know. You are so much more powerful than you've been told. You are made of light. You are filled with wisdom. You are filled with courage and inner knowing about exactly how to move forward that is just right for you. So really trust yourself. Really know that you are amazing. You are powerful, and you're here to help change the world. And so much love and so many blessings to all of you out there listening in. And yeah, I hope this has been uplifting and inspiring for all.
Thank you, Jocelyn. It was uplifting and inspiring, really. And it would be for everyone who was drawn to watch this conversation. And thank you for the time here, for this wisdom, and for putting yourself out there, although you had to go through your doubts and through the acceptance or rejections of the world around you when you were stepping forward out of the old way into the new way. So you have walked your path, and now you're walking your talk. So, which invokes trust, and this matters. So, thank you for being here, and to the sharing these gifts, and to our viewers to really trust you. And even if they feel drawn to really jump and join you on this journey, to just follow that, because it's very strong and it doesn't come from the mind, it comes from this higher guidance, and it's the right thing to do. So thank you again for all that are watching us, and to you again for being here, and for the wonderful, beautiful conversation we had.
Yeah, thank you so much for your kind words, Vasilka. And thank you for saying yes on your path too, and stepping out and doing what is scary and being visible. It's so, so beautiful to see all that you've created here and the amazing community you've brought together. So I honor you so deeply for that.
Thank you, Jocelyn, with your help, of course.
And we have lots of fun in the process.
So I'll see you again. And I'll see everyone again with our next conversations that are coming. Have a lovely time. Bye for now.